This will be day 1 of the Death by Ring workout. Right now I'll explain the 4 grip variations you'll see in this video. First, a shoulder width overhand grip, followed then by a reverse chin-up grip, also shoulder width. The third grip will then be going to the close grip, also overhead. And finally, for the last sets of this workout, you'll be ending with a wide overhand grip. Being that each exercise will ultimately begin with a pull-up of one of these grips, make sure you follow strict form with each. Notice Brett's full extension. Even though his feet graze the floor, the weight is still supported in the forearms, back, and biceps. When performing each rep, be sure to have the bar at least come under the chin and maintain a tight core to eliminate any horizontal momentum from your body wanting to naturally swing. If your pull-up bar happens to be too low, do each rep with bent knees to ensure maximum range of motion. See, but I don't get it, don't you think? Maybe we can put it on credit, don't you think? I can take it, jump on, I don't let it, I can stupid mind. The first ring exercise will be the isometric hold. Keep your elbows extended, back of the arms contracted, along with the chest, and keep your core engaged. The next exercise is the dip. When performing this movement, lower your body by the elbows until your chest is level with the rings. Then, using your chest and tries, push upwards while squeezing at the top. Notice also how Brett's hands rotate outward as he comes to full extension. This allows for better chest recruitment and contraction at the top of the movement. Our next grouping of exercises begins with the standard push-up. Again, lower your chest until it's level with your hands, then push back up, squeezing the chest at the top. You will then perform the plank in a top push-up position, keeping the elbows locked and the core tight. In this exercise, Brett will be utilizing a false grip, with all fingers over the edge of the ring, resting only his palm on top of it. This is an advanced push-up known as the archer push-up. As you lower your body, begin extending an elbow out away from your side until it is parallel with the floor and perpendicular to the body. Then, proceed to push yourself up by squeezing with the chest. This next exercise is known as a crescent push-up. Note that Brett will be using only a light resistance band. To test your strength, engage yourself first by starting on your knees and advancing to a full plank when you are comfortable with the technique. Start by extending both arms directly overhead until they are level with your body. Be careful to avoid injury by not overextending and keeping a tight core throughout. Then proceed to swing both arms out and away from each other until perpendicular with the body. Finally, squeezing the chest, return both arms to the starting plank position. Brett now is demonstrating a full jackknife in the plank position. Again, while learning this, begin on the knees to get the shoulders to atone with having to stabilize the weight in this position. Begin as you would a crescent push-up, but instead of separating the arms, keep them together while squeezing your core to return them to the starting plank position. Make sure to not let your hips sag to prevent low back and shoulder injuries. The last ring exercise for day 1 will be the tricep jackknives in a kneeling position. Keeping your back straight and arms slightly below the level of your body, begin lowering yourself at the elbows and then returning to the top by squeezing your triceps. Remember that your shoulders should be in a fixed position throughout the movement to ensure you isolate the tricep as the main mover of the weight. In the coming clips, Brett will be performing some of the exercises I just went over with added weight resistance. The first starting with the pull-ups. The chain around his neck is 20 pounds and 5 feet in length. Our way of approaching this was to cut all of the reps in half for each set that we listed in the actual beginning of this workout. You think it sounds too easy? Just give it a whirl and let us know how that goes. The next advancement to the pull-ups will be performing slow repetitions. You'll see Brett working the eccentric phase for roughly a count of 3. This will stress the bicep more and is a great way to help build your max out number of pull-ups in any given set. The next variation to the pull-up Brett will be demonstrating is clapping pull-ups. Warning, these are advanced, and to attempt them, make sure you have a solid foundation of being able to do multiple high pull-ups, which entails getting the bar to your chest or lower, unless you like eating pavement or breaking your nose. In this clip, Brett is performing 4 variations of the push-up. The first being the added weight, while the second being the extra extension he gets by rotating his hands 45 degrees outward and then extending the elbows slightly. This engages the chest more along with the frontal delt and recruits your shoulder stabilizers. The third change is his pause rep, allowing for a sustained chest contraction, and finally his incorporation of knees to opposite elbow for a solid core addition. Remember, don't be limited by what you see here. A lot of this stems from creativity, so when you get bored, change it up. You'll notice at the end of the workout we include some lower body exercises. So if anyone was assuming it, the answer is no, we aren't just upper body idiots who skip leg day. Treat these sets more as a lower body maintenance and or burnout sets to an already hard workout. The first is your standard deadlift. Brett begins with a shoulder width leg stance and hand grip. While keeping the curve of your back and elbows locked, lift the weight up to your hips by driving through your heels and keeping the core engaged. The final exercise is a hang clean and squat. To start, have the weight situated at your hips with arms fully extended. Then begin to lift the weight to your shoulders while initiating a squat. As you begin to lift out of the squat, allow the weight to lower back to your hips to the starting position. Note, this can be tricky in the beginning and requires fluidity to perform correctly. So start with just the bar and practice in front of a mirror before adding weight.